Mr. President, thanks for joining us this morning.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
First, if I could ask you about that latest reporting, U.S. officials seeing Russia gaining ground in the east. Do you see Russian forces making progress there, and are you concerned about it?
We have a very severe fighting on the east, but I just want to remind you that Putin promised to take Ukraine within 3 days, then to take Donbass within March, April, May, now 120 days, and still Ukrainian troops are in the industrial zone of Severodonetsk, and we still have a fighting in Lysychansk. And definitely, as you rightly said, the long-range artillery is significantly but tactically seriously improved the situation, because Russia has a limited range of the artillery, and the American one is extremely helpful. But I want to give you some positive news, because in the Kherson region, and I just yesterday was there and this morning returned back to Kiev, and our artillery brigade, where I visited, delivering some technical assistance and support from my charity fund, give very, very promising news about the Kherson, and I keep my fingers crossed that we will see the positive. But
we've been
at
following
the end
that.
of the day, we need more weapons, and strategically, Putin is losing. Strategically, Ukraine is winning.
In terms of those weapons, for instance, I saw that the HIMARS, as it's known, multiple launch rocket system, has now arrived on the Eastern Front. But U.S. officials tell me they do not expect the arrival of those weapons to immediately change the situation on the battlefield. What do Ukrainian forces need now to help push back against this Russian assault?
I can confirm that the first multi-rocket launch system already arrived, but this is only 4.
Yeah.
And definitely we need more weapons. And I want to talk with our American partners about game changer. Game changer, this is the 500 tanks, 100 jet fighter, about 1,000 artillery system and armed personnel carrier. And can you imagine that the future of the world, security of the world, is depending from such amount of the weapons? Because we don't need NATO soldiers on our soil. And we demonstrated Ukrainian armed forces, and I'm proud that I create these armed forces as a Supreme Commander-in-Chief in the year 2014. This is extremely, extremely important, and our armed forces is the best. And I saw yesterday also positive news that your Navy missiles, Harpoon, is already also come to our artillery brigade. By the way, not American yet, but British one. But we are still waiting the American, because this is American production. And they're very effectively using now on the Black Sea, and may play a significant role in deblocking Black Sea port together with other steps of the international anti-Putin coalition.
In terms of EU membership for Ukraine, it was 8 years ago, back in 2014, that you signed the association agreement with the European Union. Since then, of course, Russia has invaded Ukraine twice, in 2014, again in 2022, a devastating invasion. Is the EU moving too slowly right now to make membership a reality?
First of all, when I was elected as a president, Russia has already occupied whole Donbass. And I'm proud that within the year 2014-2015, me and Ukrainian armed forces release and liberate 2/3 of the occupied Donbass. I just want to tell you that we not only signed the association agreement, but also implemented 70% of the package of the reform for the receiving the status of the candidate. And I can see that definitely we want us sooner. But believe me, today, when the European Union Council and we waiting just maybe a few minutes when it can happen, that day would be historic, not only in Ukrainian history, European history, but the global history, because Putin has a war against the whole world, whole democratic world. And we are fighting here, not only for Ukrainian sovereignty, territorial integrity, we are fighting here for the freedom, democracy, and for whole our world, and we fighting that there is not be any zone of influence of Russia, and we need to deputinize world, Europe, and Russia. And definitely in that sense, the status for the candidate is also the same way of weapons, like the weapons from United States, Lend-Lease Act, and international assistance we receive now today.